Episode number 2, Couple Casuals Podcast with my buddy Carlo. Boom, we're live. What's up, everybody? Couple Casuals Podcast, episode number 2. I am your host, Dr. Stefo, aka Stefo, aka I'm not an actual doctor, aka Forza Azzurri a Fangulo Tutti. We have a special guest today. He's my man, he's my friend, he's my right-hand man, my buddy Car. Call him Calogero, call him C, call him Couple Casuals Car for today, call him Carbs for Carb. He's a business owner. He's a good guy. He knows a thing or two about being around the block a couple times.
Everything.
And we're going to get into some good conversation today. He's an absolute beauty. He's got some good insight. I think we're going to talk about business. Car, what are you doing? You can't smoke on the podcast, man.
What kind of podcast is this?
You can't rip darts on the podcast, man. That's not how this works, man. Car likes his cigarettes, to say the least. He's a big truck guy, too, apparently. Ford F-150.
Shout
you know
out.
what I mean? Big Ford F-150
Shout
guy. But before we get into all that good stuff, Car, how's it going, buddy? Cheers. Salute. Thanks for joining me. Let's get it started.
Cheers, buddy. I'm good.
Everything good, bud?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw it out there. Today, I actually told my chick that we're doing a podcast, first one. And she's like, you gotta keep your tone down because I swear too much. So I'm just going to get this out of the way. Fuck.
You good? You got it out of your system?
good.
You feel good now?
I feel good.
He's a business owner. He's a crypto lover. He's a car guy. He's a big F-150 guy. He likes his cigarettes. He's a good guy. Good. I come to him for a lot of advice. He's got a lot of good advice for the kid over here.
Appreciate that.
We've been through the block. We've been around the block a couple times. We're going to unpack some good conversations here. We fired up the podcast here quick. What was it? A couple minutes?
15, 20 minutes.
Ripped a couple things and said, Car, you know what? Let's sit down. Let's have a couple casuals.
Obviously,
Let's
we had a
talk
couple
for
butts
second.
before we started.
One more salute to my boy Car. Cheers.
brother.
Thanks for
Thanks
coming
for
on.
having me on.
And let's get into it here. First thing I want to talk about was when, in the introduction here, I was talking about Ford F-150. I got a real pickle for these guys with Ford F-150 trucks.
What,
I know
we drive too fast?
I know you're a big Ford F-150 guy, brother, but what's up with the way you guys drive, man? You guys are riding ass too much. I don't know if these guys can agree. Like, what's up with that, bro?
You know what it is, man, when they sell that thing to you, they give you...
It's a written code.
They give you some type of ego, man. I swear. When you go to the dealership, they put you in it, and you feel all good, and then you start touching everything, and it's like...
So it's a thing that they when you're driving the truck, a lot of people say, Car, like I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people say like, big trucks. Well, I don't know if it's true. But
I'm not gonna agree or disagree.
not agree, disagree.
But
okay, fair enough.
you know what?
Construction guy, he's gotta have a truck, F-150.
We
right?
don't really need trucks, but it's just there's a stigma behind it. If you know,
what's
if
up?
you're
You
buying
got-
construction, you gotta drive.
You gotta drive a rig. Yeah, I think we call it a rig though.
It is a rig.
So a rig,
It
a
is a
rig
rig.
for the people who don't know what a rig is. It's a truck. If you got a truck, you got a rig. If you got a big machine,
It's a rig.
it's a rig.
Yeah, pretty much anything that's like over 5,000 pounds is a
Or
rig.
if a girl's got a nice butt, it's a rig
It's
too.
a rig.
She's
yeah.
packing a rig. I don't know.
Or if a guy's got a big,
Or if he's got
it's a rig.
It's a rig too. He's packing a rig. So
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up first because I got a pickle to pick with these guys. With these
You know
F-150,
what?
they drive too close, guys. You guys got to back it up a bit. Give me some space.
That's the thing. We have so much power in those trucks because you're untouchable. It's honestly a prerequisite. You have to drive up people's asses and you have to cut people off. And you got to listen to Incubus at 30 volume, all your windows open, blaring, driving as fast as you can.
What was that other song that you used to listen to?
Animali all the time.
Animali? No, the one where you actually got into a fucking accident back in the day. Remember you were busting it down, Keel? You used to listen to...
Oh, I think it was Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, one of those
I don't know
ones.
what it was.
Back in the day, we used
Back
to...
in my emo days.
Yeah, we used to. Car likes his music.
Yeah.
Like he's driving. He's got the window down. He's hacking a butt, and he's driving. And he's listening to music. You do that on your own too. You do the solo drives
I
too.
do
no?
that at like 6 a.m.
But that's good though, no?
I have to. It's the
Isn't
only
that
way.
therapeutic in a sense?
It's the only way I could start my day, man.
So when you start your day, you fire it off with a nice drive and hack a butt. Like, what's the morning routine like?
So typically, when I wake
and then
up,
we'll get into business. But let's start a little bit about car. We want to know a little bit about car.
We always hear the good, but I'm gonna tell you the bad. It's obviously it's not something to brag about. So you wake
Car's
up.
a real guy. He wears it on his sleeve.
I'll
That's
say
why
it
I
how
wanted
it
to have
is.
him on.
I don't care.
He's gonna say it how it is.
So you wake up, you set an alarm, you probably press snooze 16 to 100 times. My chick can agree with that too. You rush, you go as fast as you can out of bed. The best thing is that people always give you advice that you got to drink water in the morning.
I tell you that all the time.
So for some reason, in my head, I'm like, I need to have a sip of water before I have an espresso and a cigarette, because that will start my body.
Okay, but to be fair, bro, with the espresso, you gotta have a water.
Fair.
If somebody gives you an espresso, let's talk about this for 1 second. If somebody gives you an espresso, they don't give you a glass of water.
It's the wrong way to do it.
It's the wrong way
It's
to do
true.
it. You go to Italy, you get kicked out of Villa Giardino for that, eh? You can't do that, guys. You got to when you have a coffee, you got to have a water right before, like Carl was saying. You take a little drink, and then you have the coffee, and then you take another little drink, and then you hack a butt and then you take a shit after this.
Exactly. Oh no, 100%.
But yeah, so you take the water. Yeah.
So typical. Well, I'll wake up, brush my teeth, whatever, go downstairs, wash my face. So I'll have a sip of water, and I'll keep that same water.
Just
bottle.
a little bit, yeah.
Just a touch, because I think in my mind, my body's good now. We'll go outside. I have my coffee now. I have a double espresso, 2 sugars, always ready to go. I leave everything on my countertop. Sugars on the floor. It's an absolute disaster. Cupboards are open. It's good. We continue. Go sit in the front of the house. We light a butt. Boom. Typically get in the car. We're gonna plug in the phone.
That's what you call breakfast of champions, though.
That's my breakfast.
Can I say something quick? So that's like an Italian breakfast, guys.
Yeah.
A lot of our Italian dads, usually they do that same thing that Carr is saying. These Italian dads, they were doing intermittent fasting before intermittent fasting existed.
I know, and a lot of them look good too.
And a lot of them, for their age, they wake up, they have a butt, they have a coffee, and then they don't eat till their wife makes dinner at 6 o'clock.
It's so true.
It's
or
true.
the couple paninos that the wife packed on the way
Couple
to lunch.
paninos maybe for lunch, those big lunch boxes. I'm sure you see it all the time on the job sites. They got these big old lunch
Massive.
boxes. I'll throw up a picture.
So we finish. I obviously leave the espresso cup on my porch. Again, we're going to say it as it is. We get into the truck now. We plug in. We get the music. Typically, what I like to do is shuffle in the morning.
That's a good way to do it.
So if I find...
And you're Team Apple, though, right?
Hardcore. And then, boom, the day gets started. So it all depends how I'm feeling, but typically now it's been like super slow indie, you know what I mean? Half Moon Run. We're talking about, Palace.
Now we're getting
like
into
that.
some
So
good indie bands.
Before I even get on the highway, depending where I am, we light another cigarette.
Oh, so this is 2 butts in now.
So we're
guys.
2 butts in.
2 butts in. What time is it right now?
It's probably 6:30.
6:30. 2
6:30
butts
at
in.
the time.
All right.
Now, this is the best part of my morning. My office isn't too far away.
From the house, right?
So we're doing about $120, $130, $400. We get onto the
He's
407.
speeding. That's speeding.
And we're going into the 407. There's no reason to take the 407 at 6 here in the morning, but we're taking the 407.
Carr's keeping it honest, guys.
I'll keep it straight
I
up.
tell him all the time, don't take the 407.
If the 407, you know how they take pictures of you before you actually get on?
Yeah.
If they took a picture.
But you don't have the transponder?
I have a transponder.
Okay, you got to have the transponder.
I don't want to
bro.
tell you what I spent, but
Yeah.
if they took a picture, there would be a cigarette and just fucking music blaring in the morning. It's a black. Yeah, we're like. So then
you get to the shop and then let me guess.
Typically, I
Let
get
me
to the
guess.
shop.
Coffee in a butt.
Coffee in a
Coffee
butt.
in a
Now
butt.
this is a different coffee in a butt though.
It is?
Yes, because I trained my
Now you're
body.
talking to the guys now, right?
No, not yet. Now
okay.
I'm solo dolo in the morning. So now this is a different espresso. This espresso in the butt has a purpose because now I got to go to the washroom.
Oh, it gets
So
the
what I
bowels
do-
moving, guys. You understand?
Exact, little
People
cacao over there,
got to
yes.
understand is that if you're having problems going to the washroom,
Yeah.
you gotta have a coffee. It will get the bowels going.
Exactly.
And if you smoke cigarettes, apparently I heard that actually helps too.
It does. I'm ashamed to say it, but
Helps the bowels.
it's my body just knows. The second I get to the shop or the second I get home, I gotta go.
So that's how you start the day. The day gets started, and then the guys come. Cars and plumbing. That's what he is.
I
Repping Gama Services. That's his company. He started about how many years ago now, Car?
It's been about 3, almost 4 years now. My partner's
gotta
been
get
in it for
EST established in.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till my 10-year mark,
Okay, fair
and
enough.
then I'm gonna do something
So
like
it's
that.
you and your buddy Gus.
Yeah, we are partners in the company. And that's quite new. About 3 years ago we did that, but it's been cool.
There's a lot. So now there's a lot of things that we can dive into, guys. So we got cars morning. We got that done. Now we're gonna get into a little bit about the business aspect of things,
Yeah.
because I think there's a lot of useful information. Jokes aside, we like to have some fun. We're gonna keep
100%.
We're gonna keep it casual. Car's gonna wear it on his sleeve. He's gonna tell you the honest truth.
Yeah.
But we want to talk a little bit about business. Let's talk a little bit about the beginning of business, starting up a business, bro. Like for a guy like me, like I'm not necessarily a business type. I have business characteristics, but my buddy Carl over here has always been thinking about starting a business and always been desired to start a business. And eventually one day he took the plunge and he did it. And there's a lot of adversity that comes in that. Would you not say? How many lessons, how many things
It's absolutely insane. Like we're one mental breakdown in. We could touch on that too after.
So we'll start off the beginning, the decision, like maybe even touch a little bit on your experience like working in the trades, working in construction out before the business even started?
Yeah,
Some of the
so-
experiences that you experience on these job sites and stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy
So,
things.
so right out of high school, I was the kind of kid, no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I think I liked school, but everything to me, I needed an A to B. If I started something, I had to kind of finish it. So I always like construction because it's like nail those two pieces of wood together, connect those things together, and you see it done.
You're a hands-on kind of guy.
Exactly. So I couldn't see myself in school for the life of me. But
you experienced a little bit of other jobs too.
I did. So I worked at a big bank downtown. Just by chance, we got lucky that we got in. It was cool, but the corporate world wasn't for me. And actually, a lot of my family were in plumbing. Honestly,
So that's how you got into plumbing.
yeah, I would have gone into any trade with the opportunity. And I know, like other 18-year-olds out there, I got sold on the money.
Yeah, because the plumbing you make good money.
So
What do you think the biggest difference is between like all the trades? Like, even like let's take the individual. Like, who's the most craziest in the trades? I hear the tradesmen a little bit. They make good money, guys. They make good money. There's a lot of money to be made, but you got the electricians, the plumbers, the drywallers, HVAC.
Well, typically anything that doesn't involve a license, you're going to get crazier guys.
Because you need to be licensed to be a plumber.
Plumbing, HVAC, refrigeration, elevators, things like that. You actually need to go to trade school.
Right.
You're going to have to pay for that trade school. You're going to have to, pass tests and stuff. So if you find a career path within construction that you just don't have to go to school, typically that's where you get.
Because people they just work their ass off.
And I've seen drug overdoses
On site?
Yeah.
Tell a
I've seen
story about
fights.
that real quick. Maybe if you want to share that.
There was a forming guy, and there's this thing called stripping forms. So what they do is they build these wood forms, they pour concrete on it, and that's what actually erects the wall. And this guy, man, we knew he partied.
He partied when he was
nuts and he used to run around. This Italian guy used to run around, bro.
Young guy?
Bro, that. Yeah, he's probably in his like mid-20s, early 30s at the time. And he had a full-blown massive heart attack, man. Right
on site. So this is when you were working high rise?
Yeah, it was probably 6-7 years ago. He was killing it, man. This guy used to run around.
But he used to work like an animal though, eh?
Crazy.
Isn't it crazy? Like some people, especially in the construction world, what you notice is you see a lot of guys that they'll party hard, they'll drink a lot, but then they get up and go to work the next day, no problem. There was a quote once. It says, "The true measure of a man is his ability to work with a hangover." It's funny, man. That's a funny quote, but it's true.
I think just people keep the party going, man.
They keep the party going. Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, there was one guy I'll never forget. He was missing all his front teeth. He was a laborer. He used to chew aspirin like 6-7 times a day.
No.
Yeah, he was so fucked up.
Why? But just to keep his.
He always thought he was having a heart attack. Always, because they tell you if you're having a heart attack, chew aspirin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was always doing that, and it's just the character.
And he was the guy that went down. Did he make it, bro?
He made it, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah.
You could be 18 years old working side by side with a 50-year-old man, and it's like they go home to like 3 kids, but they're your boys.
Exactly.
Like we're best friends.
The work, it's on the I can only imagine. I never worked at construction a day in my life. It wasn't for me, but I hear the stories from these guys, and it's not easy. But they get paid well.
Yeah.
They get paid well, but it's not easy work. Like not a lot of people are willing to do that work. Typically it's men are the one who choose to get into those trades, and it pays well. It definitely pays well, but it definitely is taxing on your body, on your mind. But Carr experienced that, and he experienced these things, and I think by going through these experiences, I think then eventually you were like, I need to do this. I got the work ethic. I got the determination. I got the inspiration from, I think it was your no that was a plumber.
Yes, he was.
And then I'm going to veer off of my own, and I'm going to eventually start up my own business.
What sold it for me was one of the companies I was working for. Every morning we used to have to get to the shop at 5:30 in the morning, and it was terrible. And I was making good money, man. Everything was great, but I used to sit in the back of the truck on pipes and just is that what you used to do? Just on the 401, just banging my ass on this pipe. And then one day I just said, screw it. And it's funny.
Did you just get up and quit one day?
Yeah, so I'll never forget it.
You pulled a Conor McGregor. He was a plumber. He did that too.
I did. I quit. Well,
that's cool.
But I continued. There's something called a hoist. So it's an elevator on the exterior of a building.
Yeah.
Right?
That's while it's in makes them go up and down.
Exact. Sketchy shit, man.
Yeah.
I hated those
100%.
Things. So I was in the hoist, and I remember I was on the 38th or the 40th floor, and there was a hoist operator, a bunch of guys, and I quit that day. It was my last time down. I had my tools on me, and they were talking about the system. Fuck the system, man. We should do this ourselves. You don't need a boss or anything.
And did you already quit at this point,
I
or you
quit.
were going to?
I was second. I literally walked into the elevator while this conversation was happening.
And you already did it.
I was quitting my job that day.
Did you already quit?
I
though?
already quit.
Oh
Though.
wow! What are the chances?
So they're talking about this stuff, and we don't need the system, and we got to work for ourselves, whatever. And it was crazy. When I left it, I said, guys, I'm quitting today.
Wow.
Today's my last.
I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah. I don't even think I ever told you that.
Yeah. So it was just like the timing thing that everything just kind of.
It was crazy, and you know what the worst? I didn't care.
But people, I assume that when you do something like that, you don't leave working for somebody. I'm sure they're gonna start hating on you. Just like anything, guys. People hate, eh?
Yeah.
Like remember that. No matter what you do, people are gonna always hate on you. There's going to be somebody that's not going to like what you're doing. There's going to be somebody that's going to judge you. And maybe it's something to do within themselves. Maybe they wish they did something. Maybe they wish they went on their own. Maybe they wish they did this, they did that. And then they see somebody doing that exact thing. So that's the opportunity for them to cash in and
exactly
talk some shite about you.
Yeah, you're damned if you do and you're damned
if you don't. So you might as well I know that's one lesson I learned over this corona is you might as well just do what it is that you want to do, say what you want to say. And if you offend some people or maybe you don't exactly, fill the expectation that others had around you, maybe close people to you, maybe acquaintances, then it is what it is. No matter what, you're always going to piss somebody off. And I'm sure in Car's situation, when he veered off, there was people that I'm sure you can unpack that for us and tell us some stories about when you said, I'm going to start my own business, how people probably passed judgment on you.
Well, I remember when I first initially left, the boss I had at the time said, you're not going to make it and this and that.
Really? So he just told you straight up?
The thing is that people don't leave the union. It's not conventional at all. It's so hard to get into that why would you leave?
Explain to the people what a union is. Some people might not know what a union
is pretty much a body. A governing body, I guess. That's
that'd
the
be
best way
right.
to say it.
Yeah.
They control the trades, so whatever it may be specifically. It might be electrical, it might be HVAC, it might be plumbing. So they guarantee you a rate. They guarantee you a job.
So they're the ones looking after you, pretty much.
Pretty much. You got to pay them, though. And it's a stigma of being in a union. Because back in the day, during, all these recessions and everything that was going on, it was the union members that were safe. That's why unions got created. So these big corporations couldn't, fire all these people for nothing.
So they protected their jobs.
100%. Now, obviously, it's a little bit more political as time progresses. There's strikes, there's this, But again, it is as an employee, I would definitely, be union if you just want to get your 8 hours in a day and go home. But if you're a go-getter, man, I would always look for a different alternative.
And then that's what came to you. Was there a time that so basically you sitting on those pipes, you having those kinds of thoughts in your head, there wasn't like a specific actual moment that took place. It was like, was it a progressive decision?
You know what? I thought that I progressed enough in my career and I was smart enough.
How old were you anyways, bro?
I was, 20s, early 20s, 20s.
You're an October baby,
24.
bro. So it's not that. So people don't leave the unions. They don't necessarily leave the unions.
That's what I was going to say.
The security. So when you're bouncing out of the union, it's like now you're in uncharted territory.
Yeah.
If you don't find work, if you don't get
Wild
a job,
West.
You got nothing. You can't. Can you go back to the union?
So
will they let you in?
No. So funny story. We were actually on our site, the big job that we went to.
The first big job.
And the union came. So they started asking. They knew who I was. Calogero,
Really, eh?
what's going on?
Wow.
So me and this guy got into a little, not a tussle, but he told me, and it was funny. I'll never forget this. He said, "Why? I thought you were a brother."
Oh, they call each other brothers.
Brothers. It's an actual thing. Hey, brother, and they do the forearm handshake and everything. And I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I want to progress in my career." The thing with the union is you can only make so much money. They cap you out eventually.
Well, as a business owner, you know that's why we got to celebrate business owners.
Exactly.
Guys. Let's talk about business just for 1 second. Let me veer off for a second. We have to celebrate business owners. Business owners are the ones who keep the economy thriving. They create jobs. We have to understand that. They create jobs. They may be the one at the top that reaps the benefits, but do you want the responsibilities of that? Are you prepared to leave the union? Are you prepared to risk not getting any work? Are you prepared to be the one to be in charge of that enterprise that you're running and risk it all and be the one responsible if God forbid something happens?
Exactly.
If you are, then you can be a business owner because these business owners are the ones putting their neck out there. These are the ones doing these certain things. And it's unfortunate to see what's happened in this past year with the business owners. I feel like they kind of got left behind a bit. And Car can unpack that for us a little bit more as we go on about that experience being a business owner through that time. But let's not get too sidetracked here. Let's continue on. So like the whole process of starting the business. So you were in that position, you were in that mind frame, and you were saying that people don't leave the union, and then eventually you left the union. What was the negative thing that your boss started to say to you after that?
They didn't understand why would you leave such a
Why
good
would you
job?
do this? Yeah.
Dude, you're making, as a licensed plumber in Toronto, even if you're a foreman, you're almost $80 an hour.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, man, you're talking like $1,900 a week,
That's
guaranteed.
that's a lot of cash.
The thing is that they do protect your security, but if you suck at what you do, man, if your lifestyle can't keep up, that's a big problem, because that's a lot of cash, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And especially in plumbing too, we do a lot of side jobs, man. I went to Vegas for it wasn't my birthday, at 21.
birthday,
I spent $8,000.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, off of side jobs.
Hopefully Gina's not listening to this.
I don't care.
Sorry, Ma.
I spent 8 G's, man. I remember we did a house. It was a full custom house. I got paid $8,000, and I spent it all in Vegas.
That was funny.
And I'll tell you what, man, if I wasn't a plumber, I would never be able to do that, because I knew the money was coming the next day. You know what I mean? The months after that, because I was willing to work.
So then you made that decision, and then, so people started hating on you. Like we mentioned, people are going to hate on you when you do these sort of things. But then you started. And what was that startup transition like? What was that startup process? Tell people what it's like.
I'll tell you the truth. And obviously to any business owners out there, you're not going to know anything.
You just got to figure it go.
There's a couple contacts that you will make in the beginning, from lawyers to accountants to people who are on business. But you always got to remember, the people who are doing something right sometimes don't know why they're doing it right. Right? There's a famous saying, hard work will bring you to where good luck will find you.
Ooh, that's a good one. Say it again.
Hard work will bring you to a point where good luck will find you.
Yeah, and they also say success is when hard work and preparation meets luck.
I like that.
It's a good one, eh? You need a little bit of luck, guys. You need just a little bit.
I think in business you do need some luck, but in the beginning, man, and we were talking about this the other day, I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have anyone that had any type of business know-how.
That's a good one. Let's go in there a second.
Yeah, so what I did is I would literally go on YouTube, man, or I'd find podcasts and just type in any subject.
You had that learning mentality.
And I would just learn. But it was crazy because it was in front of me. It was tangible. So if I Googled how to do markup, let's just say, it was in front of me. I was actually doing it for a customer. And then I would be able to show how I progress through these videos. And these people, and it's crazy because you can have a mentor and they don't even know who you are, but you know who they are. So I was following them religiously on
So
podcasts,
they're just random, not people like you meet in the field or something?
You know what helped me a lot? TED Talks.
TED Talks are good.
There was a lot of TED Talks, and you could type in pretty much any topic, and they're going to show you what it is. Because anyone can talk the talk, man.
You got to walk the walk, though.
Anyone could do it. You could say that you did this much a year, and you did this, and you did that, but do you understand what you're doing? Because there's so many moving parts.
But you're also figuring it out as time goes, right?
I still don't know anything.
Yeah, you're still figuring. You're always going to be figuring it out.
Don't.
And remember, we're always learning. I talked about this on episode 1.
Yeah.
We're always learning. If you have that mentality of always learning, you're going to get better. And you have that mentality, bro. And that served you well.
I definitely do.
Because you've changed a lot as an individual.
Yeah.
And that served your career well.
Yeah.
And you started to tell the truth. You started to work towards things. You started to teach yourself.
Accountability.
You took accountability, which is a big one.
Very key.
A lot of people don't want to take accountability nowadays. We all look at it and we go, hey, we don't want to take accountability for this. I'd rather just put this on X, Y, and Z. But accountability, responsibility, that's where purpose is found. That's where your mentality will strive yourself forward through that willingness and that courage to take the responsibility, take the courage, like Carlo's saying.
Every business owner will say the same thing, and I've heard it so many times. It's going to show your true colors. It showed how lazy I was. It shows how dishonest I was. It showed how irresponsible I was. So it's funny because, and I guess a lot of people will agree with me, if I were to shut down tomorrow and go work for someone, I would be the best employee in the world, man.
Because you know what it takes.
Because I understand, and I know what these guys. And again, I'm just a baby in the business, but I would be so good, man. Because I would respect the boss, because I know what he's going through, and it's tough.
It's a big responsibility, man.
It's from A to B, but you're moving with all the moving parts, and business is more about relationships than it is the work.
Yeah, and I always said this to Carl, he has the ability to shoot the shit with anybody.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. That's an important thing, guys.
Exactly.
And hacking butts definitely helps with that
You know what? And it's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of people and a lot of relationships and a lot of the contacts I made from
hacking
having
butts.
cigarettes. It's terrible.
Yeah.
again, it's something social.
But we're keeping it real today. When we on Couple Casuals podcast here, guys, we only say things that are 100% true. We don't mess around. And sometimes we may speculate and stuff. We may get it a little bit wrong, but our heart's in the right place.
Either a cigarette's going to open the conversation or it's going to close it.
Cigarette.
It's true though.
Yeah.
As much as I know, again, it's bad, guys.
No, but it's funny though. It's fucking funny.
It's true. Either you're going to open the conversation or you're going to close it, because I could see someone that I look up to that I know is in the business, and I see them smoking. I got to
go join a bar. Yeah, you can join exactly, and that's the thing. Well, it's just that entry point, and it helps a lot.
Exactly.
So that's where a lot of people say with golf too. Golf is one of those things that you learn a lot about somebody's character on the golf course. You learn a lot
100%.
about if, for example, if they're on the golf course and maybe they're cheating, maybe they're ducking, what are they counting their holes wrong or whatever it may be. I don't
100%.
golf. The boys golf. I don't golf.
I think one big thing with golf is that if you're playing with someone and they freak out a lot, you don't want to do business with them.
Yeah, we want to be stoic, guys. You understand what
Stoicism.
Drop
Look
the
it
definition to stoicism. The Daily Stoic, guys. Good read. It's good read for everybody.
Just a wall. You got to be a brick wall in life.
Exactly. Don't show your emotion. People that get angry, people that do these things in front of other people,
What did
you're able to interpret it in a
JP
certain
say?
way.
Our boy JP.
What did he say?
What was that line?
From what?
You got to be the strongest guy at your father's funeral.
The strongest guy at your father's funeral.
Gives
That
me
lingered
goosebumps.
a lot with people, right?
That is
because it shows you're being stoic. It shows you're being resilient through times of struggle, holding that emotion to be as cold in a way, cold and as stern and as forthright as possible. And that's back to what we were saying about accountability and responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think that's where our purpose is found. And through Carlo working for the union, a secure job, in a sense, a secure job, and then going, hey, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to take on some more responsibility for temporary stress to then later reap the rewards when I'm ultimately going to be making better money. I'm going to be more financially secure. So what are we doing? We are sacrificing the present for the future. We have to think
that's
about
a really good way to put it.
That's
a really good
way
way
to
put
put
it.
bro. And that's what you did.
It's true.
Talk a little bit about your experience with being a business owner through COVID. What was that like?
So imagine just starting a company. You already don't know what to do.
Yeah, because it hit in around March, then all of a sudden, boom, you got to figure it out. March 2020.
You know what? I'm not going to lie to you, man. In the beginning, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. You were all right?
The first week or so, because it was a break. Mm-hmm. It was an excused break. Because no customer can come at you and say, oh, this, that, whatever it may be. But then the hard things started to come. The bills,
no material,
the guys.
delayed material.
That didn't start yet.
That didn't start yet at the beginning.
No, not at the beginning yet. So it was really hard. And then I'll never forget, I don't know if you want to touch on this. We were doing a job. It was pretty big. It was the biggest job I done to date with everything.
That was around that time?
It was just around that time. And we had so much money out there, man. So much. We were all scrambling. Fuck, we got to return the material. What are we going to do? How about the guys? I got to keep the guys busy. I got these bills. Oh, my God.
Because you got employees you got to worry about, too.
What happened was we were doing this job, and I was on a scissor lift. So I was 40 feet in the air. I remember I went up, and I was looking at something, and then I came down, and something hit me. So all the anxiety and all the stress just went boom.
Oh, you just had somewhat of a panic attack.
I think so much was a panic attack, but I'll never forget. I rushed everyone out of the job. I said, okay, guys, it's time to go and whatever.
Really? You just felt it that day?
It was bad. And obviously it was just built up stress. See, the thing is that I can't speak for every business owner, but we were not prepared for this at all.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody really took into account.
You always hear oh, people, you have a nest egg and you got to save money. No one prepares for a global pandemic. So the worst part about it is that it's the moral part of it. Do I go to work? Do I?
What do we do?
What do we do?
What do we do?
So the whole basis of business is one, you need an ego, number one, for sure. And you like to make money. Those are two big cues when it comes to business. Now, you get to a point where it's like, should I go to work? Is it bad? What if I get sick?
Yeah,
what if I get my parents sick?
Exactly.
What if But there's a selfish part of you too.
But then you're like, hey, I got to work. These guys got to work. How are we going to provide for our families? These are things that we're thinking about, right?
There's a selfish point of you. It's like, I got to make money, man. The money's there. So that was really tough. And it took me on a horrible ride, man. It just...
So it hit quick, and then boom, you had that panic attack in a sense that you had this thing, and you just said, okay, I gotta re-get my bearings straight. Send everybody home. Let's just figure this out.
It was really bad. It took me like 2-3 months, man, to get over that day.
Took you like 2-3 months, eh?
And it wasn't the day in specific. Obviously, it was because, fail to prepare or be prepared to fail.
Fail to prepare, be prepared to fail.
So we weren't prepared. We were just super like
nonchalant, going with emotions.
You know what I mean? Everything's
It got everybody
cool.
in check.
And then, man, it shot me right down. And
So
then like
after that 3 months, were you able to what was the transition back?
So
how did you bounce back? What was the comeback?
So what happened was, and it's crazy that we just got to a point, and luckily the industry that we're in, the field that we're in,
never stops, bro.
Never stopped.
Never stopped.
So we were able to keep working, and it's funny because the beginning of COVID was the worst part, I could say, in my business career, and 2021 ended up being our best year.
2021 ended up being the best year. So look at that.
Yeah,
so how did you achieve that? How did it get back to that? How did you were able to swing it back around?
You know what, man? It takes nuts. You just have to be there all the time.
So you just kept showing up essentially.
Yes, definitely. Now I've said it to you before. Whenever a customer would call us, I'd always turn my GPS on, even if I knew where I was going.
Yeah,
because I could be there right away, all the time. And another piece of advice, if I could give it to anyone, is that when I had my first big customer, I'm not going to mention them. I used to wait in the parking lot, man. From 6 to 6.
I remember that. Yeah.
All day. Waiting for calls.
Just waiting for it because you got to be on call. At the end of the day, when you're a plumber, like Carlo, people are they're gonna have an issue in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
They can call you in the middle of the night, and you got to roll out of bed or leave where you are. There's been a couple times where we've been out. He's had to leave because we're calls, and these are the responsibilities that come with being a business owner.
Yeah.
So we need to show some respect to the business owners and understand the sacrifices that they go through.
100%.
And I think that's one takeaway from this podcast and the things that we can kind of take from that.
Exactly. But obviously everything worked out as time progressed, and we grew exponentially, and I can't be happier what's going on. But people say it's the worst thing is that these businesses that closed, like the felt shop and the person who sold the yarn.
Or the restaurants,
what if that person was sending their kids through school, man?
They probably
What
were.
if they were supporting a kid?
Yeah,
you can't say
were.
it was inevitable. It was bound to happen.
Nobody's saying that, bro, but
I heard that, though. People were like, it's bound to happen. They were small. They weren't going to make it anyways.
Ooh, that's tough.
It's horrible.
No, that's bad because you got to think about it like this. They're probably, chances are, maybe some of the times they're immigrants. They came to this country.
Yeah.
They sacrificed everything. They probably never went out. They didn't go down to the bars like we did every weekend, every other weekend, or, enjoy themselves very much. They sacrificed everything.
Yeah.
And they put their lives at risk in order, and they put their freedoms at risk. They put everything on hold to work for this business that they were creating. And then maybe eventually the time came where they started to create profit. They were able to, they had some kids and they were starting to become lucrative. And then now they're making good money. And then all of a sudden they get shut right down. And then they have to essentially start again or go into debt even more, backtrack to start it up again. There was like Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports was doing a great thing. He was doing amazing fundraisers for private, for like small mom and pop shop business owners. He was doing a lot of good things. It's good to see when people rise up to that occasion. I think that's always good to see.
That's tough to do, man, because COVID really showed how selfish people were.
COVID showed a lot about. I learned a lot through COVID too, and I know you did too, as a business owner, as an individual.
A lot.
Yeah, 100%. In times of crisis, guys, is when we learn the most, I think.
Yeah.
And I talked about this on episode 1 as well. Through suffering is when you learn the most about 100%. Yourself.
So, but COVID was something that was unexplainable because we didn't even read about pandemics in the history books. Man.
I don't know anybody. I never thought about it even.
No, I remember those videos. In the beginning where those like people were like throwing up blood.
You remember that? It started off. We were tripping. Everyone was like, "What the hell is going on?
What is that? We're gonna die."
People were just falling like flies. That was weird, man. That was so weird. I literally forgot about that. Everybody was freaking out. Everybody was nervous, but nobody shut off the news, and I think that has a lot to do with it. It's the same with the phones, right? We're on our phones 24/7. It's being pumped right into our face every single day. You know what I mean? You look at all these different apps, we're in a technological revolution. Things are happening.
Fast.
It's changing. We don't know. It's unprecedented in a lot of these. I think this is going to be a unique time. We're going to look back on it years later.
I think we're definitely part of another revolution now, man.
Of what?
Just everything's changing.
Everything is changing.
Too many people are getting rich, I think.
But you need people to put their neck out there like businesses. But they create jobs. They do these things that are you gotta find a way to help the people who are dispossessed at the bottom. 100%. You definitely do. But the notion of the idea that the business owners are the enemies and because they're wealthy and stuff like that. I don't know. If
Well, I
agree with
would,
it
I
too much.
would, if someone were to say that to me, I'd say take the debt, take the responsibility, okay, take it all, and then tell me how you
Imagine like that experience, all those experiences that you just unpacked for us, all those different things that that you went through, and then for somebody just shrugging under the rug, eventually one day when you're like, you make multi-millions or something, you're doing really well, and then somebody look at you like that, look at all this.
You know that's the thing, and I'm ready for that. I'm cool with that. A lot of business owners are super introverted. As much as they're extroverted, they're able to shoot the shit.
How much do you think personality comes down to
Huge.
being a business owner?
It's huge.
What do you think makes the best business owner?
You need 10 different faces.
So you got to be able to communicate with many different people.
Oh, 100%. There's going to be...
So communication would be a main skill.
Yeah, but you got to be, it's got to be part of you, man. You just got to know what to say, when to say it kind of thing. Because sometimes it's not the work. Okay, you could be good at what you do, this and that. It's how you portray yourself.
It's how you present. I think first impressions are important, don't you think?
100%.
First impressions 100%. Are important. So
100%.
Make sure when you shake somebody's hand, you shake their proper, look at their eyes.
So it does, man. It's a real thing. And you got to be very careful about what you say, obviously professionalism. But you could walk into one office, man, and they're talking about mortgages, they're talking about loans, they're talking about kids, they're talking about interest rates. And then you go to another office, talking to hookers. That's all they're talking about. I'm telling you.
And once again, we're keeping it real here on Couple Casuals.
No,
podcast.
it's the truth though, and a lot of people won't.
You're
agree
getting
with
everything,
me.
guys.
There's a lot of people that won't agree with me. And back to what I said, being dishonest, business will straighten you right out, man.
And that's what you feel it did to you right at the beginning.
Because if you lie,
you checked all those things.
People will be like, "Hey, you said that 6 weeks ago. What happened?" But I've never heard anyone in their first couple of years talking about their experiences. And it's cool that now I have a voice, you know what I mean? And I could talk to you about what's going on because we only see the finish line.
Yeah.
And there's only I think the statistics 1% of businesses actually succeed.
Yeah, because a lot of them just open and shut.
And
and especially in a trade, I would imagine there's a lot of businesses that you have to compete with, right?
It's super competitive. And again, you're
competing for jobs at the end of the day, guys.
Yeah.
They'll undercut you. You have to understand.
Yeah.
Carl will go in there, he'll give X amount of dollars, then the next guy might go, "Oh yeah, he gave you that much, I'll do it for this much."
Exactly.
And you're in a competition.
At the end of it, you just have to be prepared for what's to come. And the thing with owning a business is you made the decision, and it's hard for people to understand. You can't turn it off. It is your livelihood, and you dictate the pace of your livelihood.
And in saying that, I think it's a good way to lead us to the end. We covered a lot of good things today with my buddy Crypto Car, with Carbs for Car, with Car, even just Car. Anything that starts with a C and has the R in it, you can call them. You can Carbs, Carbonara Sauce, Calogero.
Crypto Car, Casino Car.
Crypto Car, Casino Car, Couple Casuals Car. We call them that for the podcast. Yeah. But we also call them Calogero. Calogero is another name. Calogero, like a Bronx Tale.
Yep.
We unpacked a lot of good things today. We talked about being a business owner, starting up a business, navigating uncharted territories, what he learned from being a business owner through this time, not exactly to the advantage of the business owners through this lockdown throughout this past year. We talked about heading back into the summer, opening up again. A lot of good things, a lot of positive things. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to go into the last segment here, which is called Salute. Salute is the final segment on Couple Casuals podcast. It's the opportunity for the guest to say what it is that he wants to say. When you're at a gathering, when you're with your friends, we cheers, we salute. Maybe you have a couple drinks, maybe you have a glass of wine, maybe you have a coffee, even anything, and you salute, you cheers. It's a celebratory gesture to the happy days ahead, to something specific.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to do during this final segment here, is dedicate it to the guest, to give them a second to salute to something special. So, Carlo, what do you want to salute it to? End us off here, and a big salute.
I just want to cheers to everyone out there that made it through the pandemic.
I like that.
I want to cheers to all the business owners, and I want to cheers to all the people who think that they can't do. Just forget about what people are saying. Forget about the naysayers. Forget about your parents, your friends, your significant other, whatever it is. If you want to do it and you believe in it, just get it done.
There it is.
I'll end it off there.
With hard work, with consistency, with belief in yourself. No matter what, people are always going to have something to say about you.
Exactly.
My buddy Crypto Car. It's been a Couple Casuals here. So salute
Salute.
to the happy days ahead, to the business owners,
Thanks,
to the
Steph.
good old boys.
Cheers.
All right, guys, it's been a Couple Casuals podcast, episode number 2. Car, you can't smoke.
Fuck, man. It's the end of the podcast.
You can't smoke, though, man. You just wait. We're going to leave now. It's been another great time with you guys. It's been another great episode. Thank you for joining. Couple Casuals podcast. I will see you next time for a Couple Casuals. Follow me on Instagram at Dr. Stefo. Follow the podcast Instagram at Couple Casuals podcast. Subscribe, like, do all that good things. It helps with the algorithms. You know, get the kid fired up off the floor here. We're taking flight, to the moon, as the cryptos say. Follow my buddy Carl at what? At Gama Services?
At Gama Plumbing Services.
At Gama Plumbing Services.
Gama Plumbing
Reach out to him if you guys need it. If you got plumbing, he's 24-hour service, guys. You need a plumber. You need somebody who's got good experience, who's at the start but has weathered the storm, has figured it out, and is continuing to drive himself forward. He's got a good team around him. Call him. You got something that's wrong with your toilet? You got something you need? You need some plumbing done? Uncle Luigi's been bothering you about the pipe that's been hanging from the... Call him. He'll call you. Follow him on his Instagram. All the information's there.
At Gama Plumbing Services.
And reach out to him. It's been a great time here. Couple Casuals podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Salud and cheers.
Cheers.
Boom. We're done.